And we're live. Hello,
Hey.
and hello, audience friends. It is see so many of you in the YouTube link. If you could just drop us a comment and let us know that you can see us and hear us. We always want to start our sessions with the best of the internet, i.e., tech checks and audio visual, making sure that everyone can hear and see. Also, let us know where you are tuning in from. We've had a really global audience the last time Mélissa joined us.
Hi, Vanessa. Hi, Vanessa. Hi, Judy.
Judy. I'm already seeing some familiar names and faces. It's very exciting. My name is Ashley, and I'm with the Discover team at Teachable. And I am so excited today because every time I have a conversation with our guest, Mélissa Peng, I learn so much and leave feeling energized and inspired both by her body of work and her philosophy about work. So I'm very excited today because we get to look into some really concrete information that I already know is a set of mistakes that I have made myself and wish that I had this cheat sheet going into building businesses. But I'm excited for our audience that they will have access to this information and maybe be able to avoid some of these mistakes, to learn from our errors. All right, looks like we've got
people from Mexico, Jamaica, India, Nevada, and Austin who have been chiming in. So that's super exciting. And I think looks like we have sound. Looks like folks can hear us as well,
which is wonderful. Also, if I'm not mistaken, from Pahrump, Nevada, doesn't that mean Judy, you were here last time, and doesn't it mean something like Lake Oasis in the desert? If I hope I'm remembering that correctly. But wonderful to see everybody here. I mentioned, so excited about our guest. Mélissa Peng, aka the Curly Executive,
has
I don't know, a few dozen or so businesses under her belt.
I think it's only four to six right now, depending on how you define them. But yeah, we'll go with a few dozen. They're coming. New York and the building. Hi, Unruly. So good to see you.
Water Rock. That's right, Judy. That's right. Water Rock, which is, I just love that name. So not much in the way of introduction necessary about Mélissa, but just so everyone knows, I love the phrase that she leans on for describing the work that she does as a multi-passionate person who has lots of different avenues to pursue dreams and also turn them into a way to make a living. And you never know what you're going to end up talking about when you're learning from Mélissa. It could be how to pursue your dream of purchasing a castle in France. So I'm really excited to hear what's on the agenda today. And I know that we're going to get a peek into the course, which if you want to take a look at that, it's pinned to the top of the YouTube stream. And then I'll also drop the link in here for easy access for everyone. But join me in welcoming Mélissa. You can take it away, my friend.
Awesome. Well, one, thank you so much for having me. Thank you for taking the time for coming and joining an hour with us. I do not take it lightly when people join and show up because I know your time is valuable. My goal for you today is to talk about these 5 mistakes, and we'll talk about that part in a second, as well as dig into a couple of recommendations, suggestions on how we avoid them, and to show you at least one framework. We're going to talk about SWIFT. We're we're going to talk about Swift again, I realize, but it's because Swift is such a good framework, and it's in particular wonderful for our multi-passionate entrepreneurs who are trying to figure out how to organize, how to make some choices. So that is just one of the, I think we have got 10 frameworks in the Marketing in Full Flow course. So we're going to go through one today, but know that we have so many others. And I'm super excited to be here for the second time with Discover. We have several more Discover presentations planned. So be sure to follow emails. Be sure to check me out because we got more coming. But with that, let's jump into this presentation. So Marketing in Full Flow is the name of my specific course, but it's really about what I do. And we will get there. I'll tell you a little bit more about what that means to me, why I call it that. And let's talk about today's topic. So today's topic is 5 mistakes made by multi-passionate entrepreneurs. Now, this is an interesting phrasing. 5 mistakes made by multi-passionate entrepreneurs. I don't want to lie. We were a little clickbaity. Everybody wants to avoid mistakes. So mistake, we went to our friend Google, and the Google definition of a mistake is an action or judgment that is misguided or wrong. An action or judgment that is misguided or wrong. You see error, fault, inaccuracy, omission, slip, blunder, miscalculation. Sometimes when we are not doing the best, we're like, oh my God, I made that mistake. It really sucks. We get hard on ourselves. I'm here to say there is no right way to do entrepreneurship. I apologize for the clickbait, but there are no mistakes. There is no right way to do entrepreneurship, but there is your way. There are going to be ways that work for you. There are going to be ways that don't quite work for you. And so I want you to remember as we go through this, that this is your journey, that the mistakes that we may have made are just steps in that journey. They're just learning lessons. They are just data to help you build the perfect setup for you. Okay. There are no mistakes as long as you do not quit. I put my name on it. This is my opinion, but I will stand by this one. There are no mistakes as long as you do not quit, as long as you take this information, as long as you learn the things you need to learn, whether that's with the guidance and help from somebody else or yourself. There are no mistakes as long as you do not quit. And so if there's one thing that you take for this presentation, from this presentation, it's please do not quit on this journey. Keep pushing through. You have things that are amazing, special, and unique to build and to bring in this world. And especially if you are multi-passionate, you have many things, and we want to see, learn, and live through them all. Okay? So there are no mistakes as long as you do not quit. Also, you are doing the best that you can. You are doing the best that you can with the information and the knowledge that you have right now. And again, even if there are some things in this presentation where you're like, ooh, you know what? I could have thought about that differently. You are doing the best that you can. And we are going to hopefully give you some information today that's going to help you do just a little bit better in 5 core areas. And so mistakes, my definition are mistakes as it relates to entrepreneurship specifically. When we make a mistake, it's not really a mistake. It's just a barrier to growth. And when I say a barrier to growth, I'm saying it's a barrier to fast growth. Sometimes it's just like, hey, this is going to take me a little bit longer, right? But it's just a barrier to growth, okay? We want to bust through those barriers. We want to take it to the next level. And so this presentation is not about mistakes. It's about our 5 barriers to growth for multi-passionate entrepreneurs. And we are going to find ways to bust through these barriers as we go through these. So marketing in full flow. I told you I would tell you why on the side say marketing in full flow. And it's going to be really relevant. I'm not just trying to tell you my naming, but I'm telling you what I'm about because I want you to have this perspective as I go through these barriers. I want you to have this perspective as you hear the barriers from my viewpoint, so the context makes sense. So in full flow, what is flow? So a flow state is actually from psychology, and a flow state is known as basically being in the zone. The difference is a flow state is pretty much always positive, and it has you performing an activity. You're immersed in it. You're doing it the way you should be doing it. So anything for me that keeps you out of flow is going to be a barrier to you growing into your full potential and at the rate that you should. In full flow. So this is actually a UK term that means easily and showing no signs of stopping. So I want you to be able to kill it with your work. I want you to be able to kill it in your business. I want you to be able to do all the things that you want to do and do them in full flow with no sign of stopping, in the way that works for you, in the way that gets you into the best version of yourself and the state where you are productive and where you are happy and getting things done. So that is our context. And this is our agenda for today. So we're going to be talking about introductions. I'm going to introduce myself to you a little bit so you know where this information is coming from. And I am going to ask you just a couple questions. So definitely chat with me. I can see the chat. It is exciting. Swift, we are going to talk about the Swift framework. And we will talk about today's Discover special, because we do have a special for you today. If you act in the next week, you are going to have a special opportunity with us. So this is me. I am Mélissa. You'll see the pronunciation there. Mélissa. My dad is Haitian. He's never said Melissa in his life. And so I am being good about making sure that people, and I'm saying my name correctly. I quit my director of marketing role 3.5 years ago to pursue entrepreneurship full time. So I was side hustling for 2 years prior. So I've been about 5.5 years in this game as a multi-passionate entrepreneur. I have my MBA from the MIT Sloan School of Management. I went to Wellesley College, Women's College. Love that place. I worked at Hewlett Packard, Procter & Gamble, Macy's, NBC, Universal, to name a few, as well as a couple small startups. So my marketing strategy, what I learned from marketing, is literally rooted in books, right? Because I went to school for it, and in a job. I did this for real. As one of my favorite people like to say, I did this for real. This was my whole job, my whole world. And everything I've learned from the almost decade I spent in corporate marketing. So I was there for about 9.5 years. And from the last 5.5 years or so, it's really 6 years. I probably need to update this slide of entrepreneurship. All of that is coming into play. Okay. For the last couple of years, I have been coaching other multi-passionate entrepreneurs in helping them in launching and helping them create businesses that work for them. So again, a lot of what's coming into here is also coming from that coaching experience. I have been selling with my mom since age 7. We used to go and sell things in the street for money, both to live and then also so I could travel and have really cool experiences. So my mom was an entrepreneur, is still an entrepreneur, and has always been an entrepreneur since I was little. And so again, a lot of learnings from there. And I'm a multi-passionate, like I like to say, solopreneur with with 4 small companies. Woo. So multi-passionate solopreneur with 4 small companies in fashion, in business, and in coaching. So I have a fashion business. I sell these hair flowers. Y'all are in my hair flower studio. I have a dance company called Panda Beat, where we bring online dance classes to everywhere, I guess, to the world. Initially, we started out doing live events in Austin. Now we teach online. We've got customers in France, in Dubai, in so many countries. So that's super exciting. And I also coach. So I coach, I teach what I know. That's what we are doing today. I'm seeing some comments. So say yes. Say yes if you're a jack of many trades, master of some. So if you are any of these, posts, give me a yes in the comments. Say yes if you have multiple passions by design. What do I mean by this? Some of us, when we say multi-passionate, what it really is we've got a lot going on and we don't really have choices, right? I'm a mama. I'm a cat mom. I've got other projects, other priorities. Maybe I can only do this as a side hustle. So you may just have multiple passions by design. This is just real life for you. If you're managing multiple items and it feels overwhelming, if you sometimes feel like your personality is stopping you from winning in business, if you know a full life is possible, but you just don't know how to balance it all, if you are struggling with being all of you all of the time, if you feel misunderstood or like business advice is not aligned with your real life, or if you want to be human, but work seems to get in the way, if any of this is you, say yes. And if any of this is you, you're likely a multi-passionate, right? These are some of the struggles, some of the common struggles that we face. This would definitely define my life before before I started honing in on some of these things, before I worked in a very focused and intentional way on adjusting my life, my plans, my businesses to meet me being all of me being able to have not only multiple passions, but new passions, right? And me just, deciding that I was going to live up to the fact that I'm talented enough to do many things, as many of you in the room are. And so for me, it was all about building a bigger container, building the right container that could fit all these things. But there is another reality. It is a learning process. It's a learning process that you have to go through to figure out what is right for you. And so I had to go through that journey and come to a place, and I'm still going through it, right? Because it never ends, and come to a place where like, okay, I feel really good about this now. Okay. So I want to bring up this statement we said, a jack of all trades, master of some. A jack of all trades is a master of none. That is the quote that most people know, but I want to finish it for you. But oftentimes better than a master of one. If you don't believe me, you can Google it. This is the full quote, but oftentimes better than a master of one. So when we bust through these 5 barriers that we are going to beat today, that we're going to start on the journey to beating today, right? So we've got to identify them first. Right. But once we've identified them, I promise you, everything is figure outable. You can work through these barriers once you know they exist. Right. And so that's what we're going to do today. We're going to identify them. But I want you to remember this quote: the things that make you a multi-passionate solopreneur, the things that make you a multi-passionate individual are the things that are your differentiator. And they are the things that are going to help you get to that next level. So if you ever feel like, I wish that I was not here. I see it. I love learning full versions of quotes, right? So we've lost the true meaning of this quote, but oftentimes better than a master of one. Okay. So please hone in on that as we go through these. Core barrier number 1, we're going to get right into it. Your business doesn't work with your life vision or lifestyle. So this is our first core barrier. Sometimes your business doesn't work with your life vision or lifestyle. This is going to show up in different ways at different stages in your progress. I said that this presentation would work. I see. Wow, I learned something new today already. I said this presentation would work for different places and different stages in your lifestyle, right? For different places and different stages in your business growth, right? So your business doesn't work with your life vision or your lifestyle. So what that means, so at the beginning, how this manifests, maybe you don't have a vision. Maybe you haven't sat down and say, how do I want this to play out? And so you're like, it's not working, but we don't even have a metric. We don't even know what works is. Okay. So the first thing I always recommend is we need to craft an actual business vision. What do we want with our business? What are our metrics for success? But more importantly, we need to craft our ideal life vision. What does my schedule look like in my ideal life, right? How do I want to grow this in a way that it works for me? So many of us hear the words, you got to scale, you got to grow it, it has to be a big thing, etc. For some of us, that is not the path. For some of us, we want very specific things out of each of the ideas that we are going to be pursuing. And it's up to us to craft the vision in the way that works for us, but that also works with our lifestyle. One great example, when I was doing my flower business, I started in the wholesale route. I was like, all right, we're going to build this business. One of the first things that when I started flowers, one of the first things that someone in my network, of my MBA network, said to me is, I just don't see how it scales. I don't see how this would work for you. And so I wanted to prove that that it could scale. And I started the wholesale route. I'm going to have people making the flowers. I lost all the joy in that business. I wasn't making the flowers anymore. I didn't enjoy working with the employees. Guess what? There was another route for me, right? I could start flower college. I could sell courses on how to make the flowers, right? I could teach, I could drive income in that way. I could scale in a different way with that business. But I had to sit down and say, okay, well, how do I envision my life? Do I want to be spending all this time managing employees? Do I want to force myself into a bucket of making the same flower over and over again? Or do I want to actually design the flowers I feel like designing and then see who sells them? Do I want to create a scalable business via an online course and sell that instead? We have got options, but knowing which options are right for us starts with us internally looking inside ourselves and saying, what do I really want? Right? What do I want for me? And also, what do I want to give to other people? Because maybe we don't want to give all the things we think we have to give, and maybe we don't have to give them. So your business vision has to work with your life vision or your lifestyle. So at first, for a lot of people at the early stages of your business, it is a question of like, I haven't actually sat down and said, what does the vision look like? Right? As we grow, sometimes we've lost that landmark. We've lost what our initial vision was. We got caught up in sexy marketing and money and doing all sorts of things. And then we're like, oops, I'm not aligned. So I would say when we're first starting, I don't even know what I'm doing. When we're moving forward, I'm no longer aligned with those things that I said I really wanted and with that thing that I said I was going to do. Sometimes it's that as our work has moved on, our life has changed, right? Our life has changed. Like I know that having children is in my future. So I made sure I built a container that could probably work with children, but I don't know. Once I pop that baby out, then I'm going to say, ooh, does this still work? And frankly, is my vision the same? And how am I going to tweak my business to work with that, right? So that's kind of a longer term approach, right? So know that this is going to shift as you shift lifestyle. Maybe my business is going really well and I went crazy spending a bunch of money and doing all sorts of things. And that doesn't work if I'm going to grow the business, right? I've made lifestyle decisions that don't align to what I'm trying to do in business. Or maybe at first I had all this energy and I was ready and I was doing the grind and it was great and it was working for me. And then I was like, I've done too much and I don't want to do that anymore. We've got to tweak this. So again, your life vision, business vision, one in the same when you are a solopreneur, when you are leading this entrepreneur lifestyle, don't pretend they're different because they are the same. Certainly when you are an entrepreneur. Core barrier number 2, you don't have a specific target customer, or you had one, but you lost it or didn't refine it over time. Okay. So again, early stages, how does this manifest? You don't even have a target customer. Maybe you created a product because the need was yours. And so you kind of made some assumptions that you knew who the target customer was. Or maybe you just did it spontaneously, especially if you're a multi-passionate, you probably have a lot of energy and ideas and you're like, this sounds good. Let's do this. This is exciting. And it works. Oh my God, it's working. Let me keep doing it. But when you don't have a specific target customer, we have a lot of barriers that can come up to growth. When we don't have a specific target customer, sometimes we are doing all of the work, but we're not reaching our target, and therefore you're not seeing the sales, right? So sometimes this manifests as a lack of sales, right? A lack of growth, like financial growth. Sometimes this manifests as us not getting the feedback and the data that we need, right, to actually improve upon the product. There's so many ways that not having that specific target customer can manifest. And so this, to me, to be honest, the first 2 barriers, life vision and target customer, they are of the utmost importance. It's what I focus in on. It's everyone who comes through my programs. They're typically it's integrated into every single program. So whether you're buying this course or another course, it's in there. And 2, anybody who comes into my membership, we have to hone in on these 2 things first. Okay. These 2 things, life vision, target customer. I need to know who I want to help and what I'm given, right? What do I want to do with my time? Who do I want to help? And then what am I giving them? And what am I willing to give? Okay. So what people don't know sometimes is that you actually pick, it's called target customer because you pick a target. So if you didn't know, so you didn't do it, or you haven't done the detailed work of really digging into it. So this is typically where we are at the beginning. What happens next? We have a target customer, but we start getting into marketing. Marketing tactics can be really sexy. We maybe don't have a full strategy, or when we're multi-passionate, we have multiple targets for multiple businesses and we don't know how to manage it all, right? So maybe we lose sight of what we're doing, right? Or we just didn't refine it over time. The target customer is going to be changing. They're people just like you. We all change. So we've got to refine these things. So this is, again, our barrier number 2. You don't have a specific target customer, or you had one, but you've lost it or didn't refine it over time. If you're in the chat, let me know. Do you have a target customer? Is it specific? Do you know their demographic information? Do you know how they behave? Do you know how they feel? Do you know where they play on the internet? Have you dug into how much reach you actually have with it? Are they really interacting with you? If you're getting customers, do you know where they're coming from? Have you talked to some of them? Have you gotten feedback about your product? If the answer to any of these is, I don't know, then that to me is not a specific enough target. Okay. And we also need to understand what problem we're solving for this specific target. So again, when we are full of ideas, when we are super talented, sometimes we miss this specific point. All right. Ashley posted in the comments, who is your target customer? Do you have one? Definitely give us a shout out. Answer this one in here. I will make sure we have some time at the end for some Q&A, but I want to know if you have some questions now, throw them out. We are going to go on to barrier number 3. So barrier number 3. You are going after too many opportunities at the same time without the systems to sustain them. This is very typical of my multi-passionates. We have multiple opportunities and or multiple things we're managing. And we are going after too many of them at the same time without the systems to sustain them. This is a really interesting question. This brings about some really interesting questions for my multi-passionates, okay? This one is tough because by design, you're probably doing multiple things. Now, many coaches out there will tell you, focus on one thing, pick one thing. I will tell you, you don't actually have to choose, but we have to be realistic about what that means. If we choose to do multiple things at the same time, we are going to slow down our growth in one of all those things or all those things. So if we choose to do multiple things at the same time, we're going to slow down our growth in one or in all of those things. When we hone in on one item and we focus in on that, it's going to move faster. That is just a reality. But guess what? It's actually okay to be slow in one thing, fast in one thing. It's okay to speed one thing up, to put one thing down. And when you build your business in a way, in a scalable way, in maybe an automated way, when you have systems in place, you can actually say, I'm going to spend a little bit more time here. And then I'm going to go a little bit over here. Right? And you can even do that with a minimal impact to your sales if you plan it right. So that's where we get really interesting. I have 2 businesses right now that are mostly running on autopilot. So my flowers, they're just selling. So there's what I made. It's there. It's selling. I ship products. My dance business, before we were activating every single month, we paused because of COVID. And so now it's the online business and that's selling. If I want to put a little bit more fire in it, I can do ads and make that sell more, but I can also leave it and just let it run the way it needs to run. Will that impact the money I make on it? 100%. Can I also hire an agency to run ads on it? 100%. Right? So, but that only works because I built them in that way. Right? Because I built them in a way such that I don't have to be sitting it there all the time. Now, when I was building them though, I had to focus on it. So as a multi-passionate entrepreneur, it's going to be very important to make choices either on what are we doing first. So not what are we doing, not choosing one, but which one are we doing first, right? And then what stage do I have to get to with this one to be able to put it down? If I want to put it down. And if I want to run them all, that's cool too. But how am I blocking my time? How am I planning Within my community, we do 12-week planning. We try to focus on 12 weeks at a time and think through all of the actions that we are going to do within those 12 weeks. We also sit down and going back to core barrier number 1, we figure out what our life wants to look, what we want our life to look like. So we figure out what we want our life to look like. So sometimes that means for some people, right? And I'll give me, that means, hey, you know what? I want to make sure that once a week I'm working on my crafts. I want to make sure that I play my Chinese harp, the guzheng. I want to make sure that I have time with my husband every single Sunday. So I like to plan out my life and then build my work within that. Does that have impacts on how fast I can grow? Sure. Does that stop me from growing and managing multiple sustainable businesses? Absolutely not. You can have your life and your business too. But it takes some time. Does it take time to figure out what schedule works, to tweak it? Yes. So again, we need to think about the opportunities, and we're going to talk about that with Swift. Find the ones that are going to net us out with what we define as our happy place. So we need to sit through these opportunities, figure out which ones we're going to do, and then how we are going to do each one, right? It's not about what. It's really more about the how, right? The what is a big thing, but the how is actually the bigger pie to figure out. Okay. So again, if you feel like you're going to too many opportunities at the same time, right? Too many opportunities, it may be that you're going after too many opportunities at the same time without the system. So I'm basically adding on this whole second part of the sentence. That's the actual rub. It's not the too many opportunities. It's the fact that they're happening at the same time without systems to sustain them. Okay. Let me know if you have any questions. Again, drop a comment if this is working for you. If you're like, ooh, I have questions, or I don't know if I agree with that, throw them up in the chat and I will make sure that I respond to them and I get back to you. Core barrier number 4. Your plans don't have specific action-based numbers attached to them. Your plans don't have specific action-based numbers attached to them. So what do I mean by action-based numbers? So we are going to start with, again, do your plans have specific numbers, period? So sometimes when we first start, we don't even have those numbers. Other times those numbers are more results-based numbers. I want to make $1 million, right? And especially when we have been working it for a while, when we worked our business and maybe we've used more results-driven numbers and they've worked for us, right? This can sometimes become the longer term thing when we're adding on and maybe we're launching another business, etc. It can fall apart because we don't know the specific actions we need to take and how these actions line up to the numbers. How these actions line up to the numbers. I absolutely love the comment. This came in, so I got to pause for a second. Official Vera Okora says, I am feeling so normal now. Yes. Yes. You just made my day because this is the point. This is normal, y'all. This is normal. And I want to throw in that all of these barriers, same barriers for many entrepreneurs. I would say number 3, they're a little bit more important for us as multi-passionates. But they're the same things we see time and time again with many entrepreneurs, but also with big businesses. Same issues that I saw when we were working in corporate, same things I'd be brought on to work on. So yes, you are 100% normal. Yeah, 100% normal. We see you, we see you, we see you. So your plans don't have specific action-based numbers attached to them. So when we're working on our plans, one of my frameworks that's actually in Marketing Full Flow is called MIT. MIT, money, impact, traffic. I want to know not only how much money do you want to make, but how many customers is this going to impact and what is the traffic we need to get to our target audience? What is the traffic we need to get from our target audience to get there? My words today, right? So money, impact, traffic. How much traffic do we need to actually make it happen? How many people is that going to impact? What specific products am I going to be selling? In what specific quantity to get there? What specific actions do I actually need to take to then turn that traffic to then get there? I want you to be so detailed that you wake up and you know what you got to do. You're like, all right, today I'm going to send the 10 emails so that can convert into, 6 people who are going to come through. And then from those 6 people, 2 of them are going to buy my thing. And that 2 is going to be 2 out of the 50 that I need to make this year to make this money. That's how specific we get with our plans. And that level of specificity is super important because at the early stages of your business, it's going to help you define what success looks like. At the early stages of your business, it is so easy to lose hope. But when you know these numbers, you can be like, wait, I did this thing. I just don't have enough traffic. Let me do more. Cool. Right? Actually, we had my membership community is called Club Workflow. So flow state, marketing and flow, Club Workflow. So I have an application only membership community called Club Workflow, and Yvonne, one of my members in it, launched her website. So she launched her sales page. She was doing her activity and she was not feeling great. Okay. She's a multi-passionate. So she's got 2 businesses. One that is woo-woo stuff, so Horizon Healing Arts, and one that is mama stuff, so a New North baby. So she's a lactation consultant, all these things. And she's like, it's not converting well. When we dug into her traffic, she really didn't get much traffic, but she got several conversions and her rate was amazing. So at the beginning of your journey, sometimes this manifests as, because you don't know your numbers, you are getting down on yourself. Because you don't know your numbers, you aren't able to actually say, okay, this is working, this is not working. Let me do more of this. Let me do less of this. Maybe you're doing too much, right? Because we don't have specific action-based plan. You're waking up and maybe you're not making the most of your day. So this is the beginning of your journey, right? When you don't have specific numbers in the middle of your journey, as you're growing and as you're adding things, right? We're maybe doing too much and we don't even need to do all of that stuff. Maybe we're wasting some time because we don't have systems set up to make it make sense to do all this activity. So sometimes we're burning ourselves out because we don't know the numbers, right? So this can manifest in many different ways. So core barrier number 4, we need specific action-based numbers. And those numbers should be our guiding metrics. We should be looking at them regularly. Okay. I got them up in front of me weekly. And actually right now we're doing daily money. We call money actions, like know your money actions. We're doing daily money action tracking right now because I've got to get in that habit. Okay. Core barrier number 5. And we are at our last core barrier. So exciting. You have money mindset lurkers that are getting in the way. So I have had people who come to me and they've got all the other, they're like, I got my action-based drivers. I have my target customer. I know what I'm doing. I know how it works in my vision. I still can't do it. It's not working. And oftentimes what will happen is maybe we'll self-sabotage. Money mindset lurkers are special. They're special. I have something called my 4 H's of money mindset health. These are areas that your money mindset issues can hide. So the reason I call them lurkers is because they're in your subconscious. And so I've seen things all the way from not feeling worthy, right? There's something called an upper limit. So it's this idea that once you've made, and this is kind of for my people who are further along in their business, once you start making money, you're like, oh no, I can't make more money than this. Or, hey, I'm making a lot of money and I'm not making as much effort because my online courses are selling. And is this okay? And I don't feel like I should promote this anymore because you have a upper limit barrier. Sometimes we have, so the 4 H's, we have habits, homies, hypochondria, and I'm losing an H, but we can find it in the course. Habits, homies, hypochondria, and blank. She draws a blank. I'm sure I will find it later and I will totally pop in. And if not, we'll look for it in the course. But I want to talk about our she wrote it down. I promise it'll come back. History. Thank you for writing something. Sometimes seeing it in writing is all you need. Thank you, Ashley, for the save. History, and history is a deep one, right? So let's talk about one right now. My homies. When I first started in this multi-passionate game, there was nothing worse for me than all the people I went to MIT Business School with. It was not typical or common to have someone doing what I do. They didn't understand why I didn't just want to stay in my $180,000 job. They didn't get it. They didn't believe that what I was doing now could make more money. They didn't believe I could have 5-figure weekends, right? It was just not something they thought. And so every time I would come out with anything, actually, they would give me like, oh, well, be careful of this or watch out for that. And it will kill your confidence. It will kill your confidence. I have some history things. Sometimes to actually achieve, you literally have to ignore reality. The reality of being an entrepreneur in the United States of America as a Black woman is that Black women on average make $24,000 a year in their business, a year. I didn't say a month, a year. So if I didn't ignore that reality, that's a truth, right? But that truth can actually act as a money mindset lurker in your head. Because I launched this thing and maybe I underpriced myself, but I say, which is also money mindset related, I underpriced myself, but I say, you know what? It's okay. It's okay because I'm still doing really well. I'm beating the average, making twice as much as the average Black woman. That's enough, right? How are you going to make $24,000 in a week or a weekend if you don't believe that it's okay and normal and what you should be striving towards, right? Even the upper limit. I made 100K in my corporate career. That's cool. I don't need to make any more. And I'm not saying you need to make more, but if you want to make more, you've got to also think through these things. So for me, until I dug into my money stories, and I was just very lucky. I went home and I happened to be reading a money mindset book and like watching my mom and having conversations. And we were like, oh crap, I got some things. And these things didn't stop me from making money, but it stopped me from making money consistently because I couldn't be consistently excited and motivated to do the work that I needed to do. Sometimes I was up, sometimes I was down, but it was because I felt like, oh, I'm doing well enough. I don't need to do more. But that stopped me. That stopped me from doing the work that I was doing, and the work that I'm doing, because I believe in people creating giving businesses, is so impactful and so important, and helping other people, right? I was able to help a couple people this week negotiate a brand deal for them and for their businesses. It was huge. It made me so happy. I wouldn't have been able to do that if I had let these money mindset lurkers stop me on my path. Because that would have been one more client I wouldn't have gotten, one more person I wouldn't have helped. So money mindset lurkers, real thing. And so again, habit Tommy's hypochondrian history. And again, we teach that. We learn more about that. We learn how to dig into that. We learn how to create allowing statements for ourselves in marketing flow around that. So those are the 5 barriers. Those are the 5 barriers. I don't think I created a summary slide, so we're going to go right back up. 1, you need to craft your life vision. We need to craft a better life vision and a better business vision, and they need to work together. They need to work together. Number 2, you've got to know your target customer. We have to get specific with our target customer. We have to not only define it, but we have to continuously refine it over time. And we need to adapt and change, but our target customer also changes. And we need to make sure that we are on top of what is going on with this target customer. Number 3. We are going after too many opportunities at the same time without the systems to sustain them. We can pursue multiple opportunities, but if we need to make sure we sit down and think about our systems. And we also think about how that ties back to number 1, our lifestyle, our vision, for our life, not just for our business. 4, our plans don't have the numbers and the detailed numbers that we need. Our plans are focused on results and not the actions required to hit those results. Those actions don't have numbers. And finally, number 5, we got some money mindset lurkers that are turning into self-sabotage and that are stopping us from charging our worth, that are stopping us from doing the work that we need to do to make those dollar bills come in, right? Or that are stopping us from frankly enjoying ourselves. Because for me, it's not really just about money. It's about enjoying yourself. And I'm going to throw in here that sometimes it's more important to do the things that motivate you than the things that make money. And that's a big old point. If I had thought about it sooner, I would have made a slide. Sometimes it is more important to do the things that motivate you and keep you going, that stop you from quitting, than it is to do the things that make you money, especially where my multi-passionates are concerned. Because if you're not motivated, if you get bored, if you're over it, you might drop it. You might find something new. So that is it for our presentation for today. Actually, we're going to go into Swift though, but that is it for our 5 barriers. So we will go into Swift. But what core barrier resonated with you most? What core barrier resonated with you most? That is our big question. So what core barrier resonated with you most, Ashley?
It's funny, every time you got to a new one, I was like, yeah, that's me. Oh, yeah, that's me.
I saw your quote, your little message that says, you don't have to come at me like that. And I was like, we're doing it today. We're doing it today.
No, it is. And I think it was Pyrotech Unruly who mentioned, like, oh, I think I'm going to get called out today, but in a helpful way. And I feel that deeply. It is the thing. Maybe it's because the last one you mentioned, but the money mindset lurkers. It's interesting because I hadn't thought about it in that context before, but it's useful to know, a lot of the things that I'm doing, especially related to having the confidence to price my own services, and figuring out like what my actual value is a really, that one prevents me from like going full force into some pitches that are proposals or whatever it might be, because I'm like, oh, but what if I'm wrong about how much I'm worth,
The other thing that like kills me, I think, is just this money mindset. Like none of this stops. So like just the other day, one of the money mindset things came up and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm still here. Like I just sat down and I was like, I had a meltdown for about 2 days. 2 days. And I had to sit
gotta have that.
Okay. We're gonna crush that one now. Target things pop up where I'm like, whoa, I'm like the master at targeting, but I did not see this. So like, this is all a process and we have to remember, and we're all going through it at all stages. But the cool thing is, what I'm going to show you, and we're going to pop in and see Swift, is just, we have frameworks for all of them and we can learn how to work through all of them. But I wanted to take a moment. And also, if y'all have any questions, put them in the comments and I'll make sure when we go through Swift, we answer them. I see Judy says target is the thing. Judy, target is 80% of people's thing. We can always get more specific with the target. I see number 3 and number 5. I love this comment from Unruly that's here. I don't know if we can throw it up there.
Yeah.
It's me how the more clarity you get and detailed your action plan gets, it can almost work against you, because now the plan acts as accountability partner in a weird way. So it does. So it's funny. He's like, it works against you, but it's still working for you. Exactly.
You need that accountability partner
for you. That accountability partner is a partner to hold you accountable. It may not feel like it's working for you because it's helping you realize, oh, I got to do things differently.
Yeah.
But when we accept the numbers, oh my gosh, life can open up in a huge way. And I think coming back to my point about the money mindset thing, where I was saying, I just sat there the other day and I was like, oh my gosh, that's what happened. I saw the numbers, I saw the data, And I was like, oh shit, we got work to do.
We got
And so
work to
it's
do.
more about how we react to those. That you want that accountability partner. They're gonna do what they need to do for you.
There's something that you said to Melissa, that I think is so important to remember. And talking, for me, it's specifically in the money mindset lurkers, but in all of these barriers, it is a process. And no matter how far along you are in this journey or how successful you've been, you're always going to run up against new issues. And I think we expect that in certain areas of our life, and we give ourselves grace for that. If we're like, I don't know, developing a yoga practice or learning a skill or an instrument. I love, by the way, how you just casually dropped that you play the Chinese harp. Is that what it is?
It is, yes.
Just casual, no big deal. P.S.
I'm just learning though. I carried this harp around. I fell in love with it, carried it around for 15 years because I couldn't find a teacher. And then I found one, and she's here in Austin, and it's been amazing. So yes.
But as you're learning skills, and Judy, who is teaching watercoloring, that we give ourselves the grace to go through the learning process, and where we can find compassion for ourselves when we're like, oh, I messed that up, or that had a bad day today, I messed up those yoga poses today, or whatever it is. But when it comes to entrepreneurship, especially when it's connected to our passions, I don't know if you find this too, but for me, sometimes it's a little harder to find that compassion for ourselves and to be like, oh no, you know what? I'm here again, but it's okay. I'm going to move past it,
And especially for my people who are transitioning, maybe you worked in corporate or other places before. In corporate, they can be like, all right, all of these things are wrong, right? And then you can pick at them and you can nitpick little things. And I'm gonna use myself. So my cat had fun with this. So this is a little cracked, right? You got other things going on, and they could be like, hey, production team, come switch out this. Hey, this person, come do this. We're going to tweak this. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. But when you are an individual, when you're an actual solopreneur, you kill yourself doing that. You will literally die, and your business will die because you will be so busy trying to be perfect. You won't actually get the things done, or you won't enjoy it. And then what's the point? What's the point? I love what Vera said. She says, number 4 resonated with me most. I have decades of corporate experience where I did sales support, forecasting, lead management, all the things, but I'm not doing it in my business. This is so real on a huge level. I have one of my club workflow members, Wendy, said I operated millions in my business every day, but I can't even think about that in my personal life.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so again, bringing us back to the reality that these processes, we need some systems in place, and they don't have to be complicated, but we got to do the same thing, whether it's our business. We need to take our business as seriously as we take other people's businesses. I see this also with time commitments too. People are like, oh my God, it's so much work. And I'm like, how many hours did you do? Oh my God, 10 hours. It was da, 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 da. And I was like, how many hours did you spend working for someone else last week? And they're like, So let's, I want to pop into the back end. I have my pretty slide that says Swift.
Yeah.
I think that's all it says though. Let me see. Yes, it is.
Also, as we're getting into this, join me in thanking Mélissa for all this wisdom that she is sharing with us today. And you've already shared a little bit about the barriers that are resonating the most with you. So just let's show her some love and gratitude for helping us to reframe things in a way that will let us treat it as like a discipline that we're developing, and muscles that we're exercising.
Yeah. So this should be working now. If you pop in, we're going to go into the back end. This is marketing in full flow. And I want to show you one thing really quickly, and then we will talk about Swift. This is the framework that I'm going to give you a peek inside today. So one, this is marketing in full flow. This is my course. I probably will click on things and you will see me speaking. But we have a fabulous workbook. The workbook is, let's see, that goes through all of the different frameworks for us. And, I'm managing this on multiple screen, y'all. So hopefully. It is a 48-page workbook. We've got a 48-page workbook to help you deep dive in all the things. You're going to see our 5 barriers here. So craft your life and business vision. We've got 2 frameworks, 3 exercises for that. Refine or define your target customer. We've got 3 exercises for that, 2 frameworks in there, focused opportunities and plans to conquer them. That is where we're going. We're going to go into Swift right now.
Swift is quickly becoming.
And this course is really the get it done. We're not going to talk too much. We're just going to focus on learning the framework. I like to call it a worksheet bundle, essentially. So we're taking you through the different frameworks and we are teaching you them. And you get my little talking head walking through the frameworks. And this is the one I want to talk about, Swift. And so this is our framework for choosing between opportunities. We're doing this one today because we said that we're going to talk specifically to our multi-passionates. And so this is a rubric to help you decide on what to focus on first, and or choose between what we should be focused on. So step 1 is going to be listing all your current business opportunities. If you need to brainstorm business opportunities, I gave you some thought starters in there because this is all of our opportunities. Okay. We're not going to just pretend that we have a business mind and a personal mind and a whatever. If you have any project that takes up significant time, we're going to put it here. These are our little metrics, our little rubric. So S is scale. We don't want to start with a ceiling. If it's not scalable, can we make it scalable or can we reject it? Also ask yourself, can this be automated? Worthy. If you don't want to do it, it is not worthy of your time. Are there things you want to do and can make you money? Impact. Does this fit your why? Will it impact people in the way that you want it to? Sometimes I is income. Will it drive the income? Freedom. This is one of my favorite ones. And free expression of self. Does it allow you to be your free, authentic expression of yourself? Will you have the free time to do what you want? Can you do it from your house? Can you do it in your pretty pink studio? Can you do it with your dog behind you? Whatever is important to you, the freedom, the comfort, that's what's going to go here. And then targeted. Does it address a clear pain point for people that is easy to express? And clear is important here because if it's not easy to express, this is going to be tricky. Okay. And so step 2, we are going to hone our offers. And so what that means is you're going to put in all of your business opportunities. If you have 100, you'll do it for 100. Don't worry. It has 3 lines, but as many business opportunities you have, you're going to fill this out. And again, I walk through everything in the walkthrough with you. And then you are going to give it a score from 1 to 5 on SWIFT for a total of something over 25. And at the end, we are going to add up the points and we are going to reject it, rework it, reprioritize it, or it is going to remain. So this is our framework, Swift. It is mine. It is mine. So if you go off and tell people about it, tell them about me. Do me that favor. But this is your Swift framework and it is going to help you make some decisions. So this marketing in full flow is complete and packed with so many different frameworks in each of those areas. And we are going to be able to, again, crush those 5 barriers. So that is, again, crafting your business and life vision, defining that target customer, focusing on opportunities and plans to conquer them, owning your success metrics, and crushing those money mindset lurkers. And so, yeah, we also have 2 really special milestones where you can actually submit questions and they're going to go directly to me. And so I'm going to be able to interact with you a couple times. And there is a bonus in here. We didn't talk about it, but there's a special discount in here for my membership and for my club. So if you like this, if we're a fit, you can go ahead and apply to it.
All right. This is the M.
And we will stop my marketing head here, my little head here. But you can also see, and sorry, I'm switching between screens. So the scroll is not always working. The MIT framework that I was talking about. And again, us going through it in massive detail. So we will jump back into person mode, or actually the presentation, for a hot second. And I'm going to walk you through the opportunities that we have for people today, because we do have a special for Discover. We have a special for Discover. I like to say our time is up, but the
And I
party
did
doesn't
just
have to
drop the
stop.
link in to the course again.
Yeah. And sorry, I went over. I'm messing up Ashley's flow. I'm going over a couple minutes. But give me 5 more minutes. I want to just tell you that our time is almost over, but the party doesn't have to stop, so we can work together in marketing in full flow. I'm so happy that I was able to give you a little preview for that. So we've got marketing in full flow and the club workflow membership. I'm telling you about both because when you sign up for Marketing in Full Flow today, we have a special bonus. So you have to take that in 7 days. I believe the link that you have has that discount already integrated. You get to join now and you will save 20%. That'll give you a nice little $50 to put back into your business. And when you join, you're also going to get a discount to my membership. My membership is called Club Workflow. It has a lot of amazing things. We do co-working. I work with you monthly. We have challenges. We have fitness classes. We have mindset things. It's reasonably priced. It's going to cost you the same as your Starbucks. And that's it. I'll be quick on that one because I really want you to focus on that course. Get into Marketing in Full Flow. It's going to set you up for success. When you get in, you've got a special discount on Club Workflow. When you get in, even if you don't sign up for Club Workflow, you have 2 ways to send questions to me. They come directly to my inbox, and I will be able to give you feedback on 2 of the core barriers that we are addressing in that course. I'm live almost daily, and I am Curly Executive at Curly Executive on all the things. So please keep in touch. I'm a real person. I've talked to some of y'all already in the DMs, and I look forward to speaking to you even more. And yeah, we just started going crazy on the on social. I'm like back.
Doing it.
I'm doing it. I took a little hiatus. I needed to do the things that made sense for my business, just like we teach in Marketing in Full Flow. And now we are back. I love Instagram. So hit me in the DMs. Let me know if this was useful and let me know how you've implemented it, whether you join the course or not. Y'all can all take these tips, take these statements, sit down, be intentional, be like, did this affect me? Did this impact me? Is this something that I need to dig into? Make your to-do list. And when you start executing it, let me know. If you do take that next level, if you do jump into the course, make sure that you go through it. Make sure you fill in those milestones. And then I'll get a direct message, a direct email from you. And I look forward to working with you in that way. But yes, that is it. I see some thank yous for the thank yous. And I don't see any questions, but if we have any, I'm down to stay on for another 2 minutes to answer if we have that, Ashley.
Just one that I saw that was a question about the software for like what site is the course set up in?
It's on Teachable, of course. So, yeah, our course. So that is on Teachable. That is the back end of Teachable. Teachable and Discover go hand in hand. And if you haven't had a course in Teachable, you're missing out because the experience is so lovely. And that's what you're seeing pop up on the screen. And I love it because it's organized. It plays videos. As you see, we can put in documents in there, presentations in there. You can download right from it. And so everything's super organized. And the reality is, if you're watching this and you are just new to starting your business, everything we talked about is literally step by step what you need to do to start a business, right? We need to think through our vision, right? Our life vision, our business vision. We need to define our targets. We need to choose which opportunities we're going to go after because there are multiple that work with your targets. And then once we've chosen those opportunities, we need to set numbers in our business and plans to achieve them. And we need to be aware of the money mindset lurkers. So I do not market it as a start your business course, but it can also be used that way. So yeah. Do you put your current businesses in the Swift work? Yes, you put everything you're doing. So you're going to put your current businesses and your opportunities. Why? Because when you go through Swift, it's going to help you see some gaps or
Blind spots. Yeah.
Sorry?
Blind spots. It helps reveal the blind spots.
Yes, I was making sure. Yes, it is going to help you see blind spots. It's going to help you see if, because if you rank, I have people who do this all the time. Like they put their Swift in and they realize that like they ranked 2 in freedom, or like 2 in want. Like, I don't actually want to do this anymore, or I have no freedom when I do this. And then we say, okay, how can we restructure this? How can we reframe this? So when you do Swift, it is critical that you put in your current business activity and your planned business activity. And that is going to help you sift through that.
I love that. So as you're putting it, if you have final questions, feel free to share those, but definitely join me in thanking Mélissa for her time today. And thank you so much for your generosity, both with the frameworks that you use and having seen some snippets of the worksheet workbook that you have, this sort of like tome of great active, engaging content for people who are really wanting to level up. Yes. Whether you, like Anana says, you're inspiring me more to keep going and to redo things, right? Like sometimes it takes.
Anana already has, that makes me so happy. Anana already has the marketing info flow course. Oh my gosh. Anana, what's your favorite part? If you're still there, tell us what your favorite part is. But yes, I forgot, she already has the course. So it's exciting to see that she wants to keep going and redo it. And I think that's the thing to say. This course, some of my courses are more inspirational and like, teaching. This course is very much more doing. It was made to be a set of worksheets to really get people acclimated and oriented and get them in the mode of all the things we do in Club Workflow. That's the design of this. So it's to teach you these frameworks, but also for you to implement them. This is not a like sit and watch it and be inspired and go think. This is a like, come here, download your worksheet and do your work.
And we're doing it.
And the beautiful thing is, though, these frameworks will last you a lifetime. You get to do them again, and again. And so Anana, for sure, do them again, because as you evolve, you need to constantly check in with these things, everything that we mentioned. And that is why they are the 5 barriers. It's because they evolve. And most people, even if they did them at the beginning, they do not go deeper with them.
Yeah.
They do not go deeper with them.
There's also
keep them up.
Well, keeping them up. There's an element of, when in my first job out of college was with the YMCA, and we did youth development programming, and every year we would do this thing called sharpening the saw, right? Which is where it's a professional development exercise. And that is one thing that a lot of solo entrepreneurs are, we're sacrificing and choosing, that is having that built-in professional development that is so important. But so I love what you're offering here, because in addition to having that kind of framework for individuals to continue to develop skills and evolve those skills and sharpen those skills, there's also access to this great community who's also doing the same thing, which is really helpful.
And I love that you brought up corporate, because when I was in corporate, so there's one framework I learned from Procter & Gamble, specifically related to target customer. And I do it over and over and over again. But when we were there, we, as professional marketers, one of the best companies for marketing, they would make us go into a room and they're like, all right, it's a new quarter. I need you to do the same exercise again. And we would do that. And, or when you get to higher levels, they give you a budget and they're like, this is your self-development budget. Go spend it. And so it's so important that we invest in ourselves. It's so important that we are sharpening the saw, as you say, but it's so important that we invest in ourselves as solopreneurs, and that we find things and frameworks and practices that work for us consistently. The same way you might have your mindset practice or your meditation or your yoga, you need to have some business practices that are going to keep you in flow, right? That is what we have to have
And those
So
accountability partners,
hey,
it's like
yes, you want
Pyrotech Unruly mentioned earlier back here. Yeah, you gotta have those accountability buddies.
you need them. You need them. But yes, I love it.
Thank you so much, Mélissa. I just always learn so much from you, as do the audience joining us from home, which is evident from the comments. Everyone who's asked you, there will be a replay of this session available. So you'll be able to either replay it straight from the YouTube channel, here, the Discover channel. And I would also just note that if you like this type of content, if you like learning in this way, like this video and subscribe to the channel, because we'll let you know when we have experts like Mélissa coming to join us and share the bounty of their wisdom and experiences. And if not, we also will email you the same, everyone who registered will get an email of the replay. So you'll have that opportunity as well. Mélissa, thank you so much for joining us. Always a pleasure.
Thank you. Ooh, Ashley, I see one tiny little question.
Yeah,
we're wrapping up, but I want to make sure we answer it really quickly. And like I said, I'm in DMs.
Oh, I see.
You can DM me. My thoughts on annual planning versus annual goals versus quarterly goals. For you, Vera, I do both. So I like to have an annual framework and know where we're going, but that annual gets very quickly broken down into quarterly goals. So the annual for me is a bigger, rough sketch of what is the overall target that I need to get to. And then I really focus on quarter by quarter. I only make the goal for that first 12 weeks, because the reality is if we sit down and plan every single quarter out, we are stacking assumptions. You don't actually know what's going to happen in that first quarter. So quarterly detailed plans, quarterly action plans that ladder up to a bigger annual target. But knowing, because the other thing is you can shoot yourself in the foot. And this is where some of those money mindset lurkers get even more insidious, because if you have an annual goal with an upper limit and you hit your goal in that first quarter, then maybe you're not killing it the next three. So again, quarterly action plans. But I, because I'm used to annual planning and my head only works that way because of corporate, I will sit down and think through the bigger annual goal. But as in terms of my guiding, it's always that 12-week plan.
Love that.
Yeah, sorry I messed up. You had a beautiful wrap up and I just totally killed it. I apologize.
We prioritize. The flow is for the useful information. As long as that's flowing, then we're doing it right. So
thank you, Ashley. Thank you.
Love answering people's questions, especially when they're ones that everyone can benefit from. But yes, all of the wrap up still stands. Thank you for joining us. I am excited to have you back again. And audience, thank you all for joining us. I hope that you have a great rest of your day, evening, all of the above, since we have folks here from all over the world. And we will see you next time. Don't forget the link to Mélissa's course is pinned to the top there, and it's in the chat. So check out your very special deal, which is available. Is the deal around for today, or is it for?
We gave it a little bit longer, but we've got 7 days. So we need to make sure that you get in that week. You're not gonna. This is a Discover special, so you're not finding that deal anywhere. So definitely take advantage of it on this
exclusive. It's your exclusive deal.
Yeah, we're doing special things for Discover. So definitely take advantage of that. We gave you a little bit longer, but because I wanted to make sure people on the replay could see it as well. But definitely this week, jump on it.
Jump on it. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a great rest of your everything. Take care.
See y'all soon.
Bye.